Remember one thing, my friends, before we forget. You are a person who existed long before political parties were named. You, and when I say you, yes, of course, the Republican Party was, 1856, I understand that, but I'm saying you were here first, and then you recognized parties. Then you recognized musical groups. Then you said, oh, that's interesting. I may or may not apply to it. You were here first. Your core values. You're what's important, not what somebody says. Not what, I don't pick the names. We have got to stop with a couple of misconceptions here. We do not care about somebody who does an online platform for whatever. Okay? We don't care what. It's interesting. Somebody might perhaps explain something. Let me give you an example where opinions matter. In the world of physics, which I know nothing about, you have various folks who might be debating things, whether quantum gravity play, whether supersymmetry still. That's wonderful. Those are people based upon experiments and science and the like. There are other people who came along, even like Noam Chomsky. Okay, that's nice. I don't know when, but Noam Chomsky became the, and I don't think it's him, but it's also Bill Buckley and other people who came and were actually, who made a living describing things. I have an absolutely perfect way of looking at the world because I reject everything. I am from the opposition party. I am, as one physicist says, a contrarian. I don't like any of these people. This is the very fact. It's almost, it's weird. It's almost like Heisenberg, an extent, where you say, merely observing, it changes the observational metrics. The moment you start talking about something, the moment you lose yourself, and the moment we get off of this subject and we start talking about, well, whether so-and-so's version of this, well, do you think that makes sense? Let's talk about what President Nixon was. Let's talk about Gloria Steinem is. Betty Friedan. Do you think Betty Friedan makes sense? And there's always been, and then we're arguing Betty Friedan versus this. Is excuse me. Who the hell cares about Betty Friedan? Betty Friedan's not running for anything. Betty Friedan's not. She's just a commentator. She's important. It's nice. It's not like you're Ed Whitten trying to really get to string theory and find out what's going on. We have replaced politics with people who absolutely serve no other purpose other than to fuel their own prominence, their own name. And it's great. Please speak up. It may help you kind of phrase things. Somebody says, I like Victor Hansen. Was it? Okay, good. He's kind of good as an historian. Historians I like. Tell me what happened. But I'm not running. I'm not voting for them. I'm not voting for them. No. The Republican Party is the worst by virtue of people who are claiming to run the show. They're going to ruin it. Look no further than CPAC. If we didn't have Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, and the cool kids, don't be surprised if Trump wouldn't have won. There was a momentum that had nothing to do with Steve Bannon or Charlie Kirk, who pick up the crumbs. Don't ever think this. Don't ever confuse it. They take credit, but have nothing to do with momentum. And when you say that to some people, they consider it heretical. I don't care. What I do care about is this. Listen to this. New reports reveal that the average person has $8,674 in credit card debt. Plus, the total average consumer debt is a shocking $104,215 between mortgages, auto loans, student loans, credit cards, and unsecured loans. Unfortunately, without outside assistance, many will continue digging themselves deeper and deeper into the hole of debt. Now, I've advised and counseled friends and clients for years who want to take back control of individual debt about this secret weapon that has helped so many consolidate everything owed into one affordable monthly payment. They even helped negotiate a settlement agreement that will allow you to pay less than the total balance. Listen, they settled over $275 million in debt, and they've helped people become debt-free in an average of 28 months. I've had such an incredible experience referring clients and friends that I wanted to partner with them here and introduce their services to you, my loyal Lionel Nation family. If you want a helping hand to get out of debt, I absolutely, positively, and strenuously recommend booking a free consultation now by going to nodebtwithlionel.com. Look at the address. Once again, that's nodebtwithlionel.com. Use the link I've provided under the title. Listen to me. You can take control and learn how to get out of debt now. Now, my friends, I want to talk first about something which is important. And again, I want you to think about this, irrespective of what you believe is to be the case, irrespective of who's saying it or who's for it. This is the issue. And again, this is a problem because people are going to have to figure out exactly what's going on. And let me see if I can explain this in a way that sort of makes sense. Okay? Let me try this. We have people in the Republican Party, or let's just make it simple, Republican Party, who are kind of sort of, I don't know how to phrase this, but I'll try it. They're very unique. All right. I'm trying my best to be kind. They're very unique. And the reason why they're very unique is they're very loud and they're beyond, how do I say this? It's a better, smarter group. I know that may sound kind of odd, but it's true. Republicans are smarter, not by much, but they're smarter. Why is that? Because they have this idea of what the rules are about. They have this thing about America, history, the flag, fundamentals, the Constitution, God. They really make more sense. If you're going to have to pick a group, I mean, they're screwed up in many respects, but they're very good in everything. They don't just, they love to talk about family and values. This, that, and it's wonderful. It's very, very good. And I really like that. I like the fact that they do that. But, sometimes they kind of lose their way. Democrats have no foundation. None. They exist. I did something yesterday, and I read a statistic which was the most fascinating. Or I did a video on it. Please check some videos. Out of a recent poll, 40%, listen to what I'm saying, 40% of Democrats said that it matters to them what how do I say it matters to them what people in the media thought. It mattered. It really mattered to them. It's critical. Of the Republicans and Independents polled, it's like 10 and 11%, I forget which one was which, said it matters. Meaning we, and just for shorthand purposes, I'm going to say we don't really care what celebrities think or sports people. And for the most part, we were kind of like antithetical to what they believe. If they agree with us, great. But if Colin Kaepernick wants to take a knee, go, so what? Doesn't matter. That's who we are. Understand this. This is critical. This is critical. We don't care what people think, except groups of people who are the cool kids within the party. And you've always seen this. You ever take your kid to school and you say, okay, let me see. Are those the cool kids? Yeah, especially among girls. Republicans are like mean girls. They have groups and packs and factions and cliques and groups and groups. This is a cool one, or this is a cool one, or this is a cool one. Well, this one, she thinks she's hot. And these are the nerds, and these are the this, and these are the quiet ones, and these are the, well, those are the eggheads. We used to say that. Those are the jocks. This was the way high school. Republicans are like, it's like high school. You have groups of people, the cool kids. I want to be like him. And instead of somebody saying, are you a Barry Goldwater Republican? He goes, no, I'm a Steve Bannon Republican, or I'm a Joe Rogan Republican, or I'm a, whatever it is. We have reduced this to cliques. There's an expression, effers. Here in New York, it's they all live here. They will go crazy to get, it used to be autographs, but a selfie. Oh my God, they will trample you. That's the Republican Party. And the Republican Party has also, believe it or not, done so much to go, not only in terms of the commentators, but even people on TV. Is that Sean Hannity? Is that Sean? Sean Hannity's is engaged to, oh my God. Did you, oh, is that Judge Jeanine? I love Judge Jeanine. What's the matter? What happened? That's the Republican Party. They started off and they say supposedly, well, we don't really care about, Hollywood, but they're like cliques or like clique. Groups of people who are the cool ones. CPAC would never work for the Democrats. They have no idea what you're talking about. Now, they have no ideology, so they don't understand what's going on. Understand who the enemy is. The enemy, they would never have a Madison Square Garden event. Never. They wouldn't have that. They don't do anything. They barely vote. Well, they really kind of barely vote. But they're all loyal. It's the most incredible thing in the world. They are loyal. They don't know what they're doing. They don't care they don't really know issues. They don't care. Nothing. They are so loyal. It's not even funny. Oh my God. How I admire them. Joe Biden was walking around talking to himself. And what did they say? Did they say anything? Nope. Nothing. They said Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. Everybody did this. Everybody, from Merrick Garland to Van Jones to George Clooney, until they told George Clooney, which, by the way, they throw him under the bus. They don't have a Steve Bannon. They don't have these groups of people trying to fight for prominence to be the cool girls within the party. Excuse me, Bannon. Let me explain something to you. It's the president, not you. Let me give you a little bit of an analogy here. And for those of you who are of organized crime lore, there was a famous story where Agnello della Croce, Little Lamb of the Cross, Uncle Neil della Croce, as they say, who was the underboss under Paul Castellano, or under Gambino, Carlo Gambino. When Carlo Gambino died, he picked Paul Castellano, basically a cousin, and Castellano picked Tommy Bilotti as his underboss. And They went crazy. Well, when Uncle Neil was alive, they heard him on the tape. He says, don't you understand? Cosa Nostra is this. They were talking about whacking the boss. And then he goes, if the boss tells you to do something, you do it. That's the way. That's the rule. That's it. Old school. Okay? So the Gaudis, and the reason why they were doing it, the Gaudis and Quack Quack and all. By the way, Quack Quack is not because he spoke. It's because of the way he walked when he was a kid. Even organized crime historians get it wrong. Vinny, it's not the Chin because of his chin. His nickname was Chinzino. Anyway, the historians get the story wrong. In any event, that's the Republican Party. They're the Gotti faction, the one who say we don't have to go by the rules. In my rule, the Republican Party is the candidate. We got the president. That's it. But now we have, wait a minute. No. Even when Bill Buckley, during the National Review, it was about conservatism, but it wasn't necessarily as a bulwark or as a throttle or some type of a fulcrum or a truncheon against people in power. Not anymore, because we have a bunch of mean girls sitting around in the morning at the school with the cliques. You got the jocks over here, we got the cool girls over here, you got the cheerleaders here, that's the Republican Party. But the Democratic Party is one. AOC doesn't say anything about Nancy Pelosi, who doesn't say anything about this one. I respect that. And you can pretend you don't understand it all you want, but you're missing the point. Shadow Steve, thank you, Shadow Steve, being a new member. Bless your heart. Thank you for that. You're a good man there, Steve. I'm going to say it again. The Republicans suck. They are, this new group. So right now, it's a bitch slap. You got this one. Now, who's going to win? I heard somebody say yesterday, from a man I really respect, that Don Jr. actually got the president to change his mind because of cat turd. Another man I respect. In terms of the political platforming, absolutely wonderful. Remember, I look at political platforms and people like even Bannon. I respect his work, not what he's saying now, but I respect his work. The same way I did cartoonists or people like Abby Hoffman or anybody else for that matter. They're activists. They're good. I don't listen to them, but it's good. It's good that they, whatever it is, that's fine. Nobody gets this because we have become, remember what I told you, we have become a fan club. We have become a fan club. Now, the issue that everybody should be talking about, everybody, is something even more important. And I'm doing, and I hope you're subscribed to that, what am I trying to say? The how do I say this? The newsletter. I got one coming out tomorrow morning. I don't do any on the weekends because nobody reads. They barely read anything. But this is me. And it's me, and I don't care whether you agree with it or not. It's who I am. It's what I stand for. That's the way I've always been. I'm right. I know I'm right. And that's it. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm right. I don't need anybody to agree with me. I don't need anybody at all to agree with me. I don't. All my life I've done this. I don't care. If you agree, great. Wonderful. I appreciate this. I'm putting up right now. This is the link. I'm putting the link up right now. And make sure you subscribe to this. And you have to subscribe it because the rules are, if for some reason you've unsubscribed, you have to resubscribe or whatever the rules are because of spam or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. In any event, that's that. So let me go back to what's going on here. This is the most critical. Here we go. This is it right here. Follow this. What's going on right now with the January 6th was one of the darkest moments. This was pure, utter, unremitting, unforgiving. I guess you would say this would be fascism or totalitarianism, or I don't know what you want to call it. It is absolutely, positively the most incredible thing I have ever seen in my life. And what they did to those Americans, what your country did, and my country did, should be the absolute first and foremost thing that all of us say, we don't budge until we address this. Everybody, I don't care who you are. I don't even care if you're a Democrat. This is it. If you're an American, and you theoretically adhere to the notion of the Constitution, which I talk about to the point of exhaustion, the idea that these Americans went, they might have acted out, of course, so did BLM. They might have been a little violent, so did Antifa. Nothing happened to Antifa, nothing. You see, in our country, try to explain this. If we stop this H-1B bullshit for a long enough period of time, which is the most stupid argument anybody has ever. There's 2 or 3 things that we need. AI, super tech, not high tech, not big tech, super tech, and space exploration. And we're futzing around with a guy with a smelly jacket and some woman who has some serious interpersonal problems with I don't know what. We got these loudmouths who were screaming and yelling about this. We don't have the talent here alone in New York. I mean, in this country. We have the talent, but we need elsewhere. If we're going to beat this thing, we need the best, period. Why do you think there's so many black people in the NBA? What? Because the NBA loves black people? No, because they're the best talent there is. Sorry. Hate to say it. I don't know why. Do you think that the NBA is this open-minded? Hey, this is great. We love LeBron James because no, he's the best. And for reasons I don't even want to venture a guess into, black folks tend to be a hell of a lot better, either because of the way they're brought up, their culture, I don't know, their diet, their music. Who the hell knows? They're the best. Got it. I remember one time there was a guy in, I forget what it was, QVC or Home Shopping or something, that whenever they had whenever they were showing jewelry, they had Asian women. He said, why? He says, their hands are smaller and their nails are more beautiful and their cuticles are this and that. I said, oh my God. You think this guy cares about Asians? It's like, no. He says, I know what I'm talking about. They're the best. That's what America is about. The best. I don't care who you are. If I owned a bunch, I know this may sound terrible. But if I own a bunch of beauty salons or whatever, I want as many gay people as you can imagine because they're the best. You know it and I know. And if you want to pretend, it's fine. They're better. You get some of them, for some reason, the best. Fashion designers are gay men. Hairstylists, gay men. Yeah, there's some women. Look at women's fashion. Vera Wang, okay. Donna Karan, okay. Anybody else? Few here and there. Gay men. I don't know why. You want to figure out? You go ahead. Indians, they're great. Why? I don't know. It could be their diet. I don't care. You figure this out. I want the best. Period. I want to kick their ass. And I'm going to try to say this again because there are certain things that Americans just don't understand. The thing that's going to destroy everything, if we don't get a control over it, is AI. I don't even want to say AGI. When it hits that level, Americans couldn't explain it to you if they tried. Couldn't. Just like they can't explain Just like they couldn't explain Syria, the Middle East, the history. No idea. I love our country. It's the only country I know. But Americans, American culture. I know this hurts people. But for a scant 248 years, we have been here. And we are filled with some of the most stupid, uneducated, uncultured, illiterate, fat, slobbish, slovenly, torpid, otiose, concretized, immobile, intellectually paralyzed people you have ever seen. We have I am sure that in France, maybe, there are groups of French citizens who speak this gibberish French, who are always fighting each other and jumping on top of each other and screaming at each other and relieving themselves in public and jumping behind this counter of a boulangerie or a charcuterie because their order was screwed up. I'm sure that in Spain they have groups of people who cannot finish a sentence without the word bruh. I'm sure we're not the only ones. I'm sure that there are people in Italy, Rome, or France, or Belgium, who are thugs having kids and thugs who don't even speak the language, who have no affinity to anything, who have been basically saying, you owe me, I'm special. And then they go out into the world and they say, give me. I'm sure there are DEI programs. I'm sure in Italy and France and Algeria and in Portugal. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do. I'm sure there are people, and we have absolute swarms. Forget the people invading our country. Here in this country, Vivek Ramaswamy is 100% correct. We have morons. And as soon as you realize this, and as soon as you want to tell that whoever this Steve Bannon, shut up. I want to fix this. I want to win AI. I want to win space. I don't have time for this. I don't know what you want to do. Look, maybe you've been in prison. Maybe you like this. Maybe it's part of this thing. Maybe you have some savior mentality. I don't know. But you can say whatever you want. But I'm not listening to you. Now, what everybody should be saying is what they did to those January 6th political prisoners is disgusting. Disgusting. And everything in our power, everything should be, what can we do to make sure that those people who did this pay? How do we make these people pay? I know, look at this. The French are always there when they need us. This is the World War II trope that doesn't apply anymore. This is what your dad was saying. These are the same tropisms that are used about Putin and Russia from the days of Boris and Natasha. We live in a world, I'm sorry to say this, of bumper stickers. We live in a world of using because we just sit back and we don't even know. France, you're talking about not France needs us? Now, what are you talking about? We love to just say something. No, that's not. No, you're This is why I'm going to be honest with you, okay? I can't read the comments. If I read the comments, I swear to God, I lose my mind. It's like, I don't think they're listening to a word they say. I swear to God, I think sometimes, not everybody, but that's why. And I got to remember, most people who hear this are not reading the comments. Don't look at the comments. Don't look at the comments. Don't look at the comments will just throw you off. It's like, what are they talking about? I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I'm not talking. Nobody's talking about that. And this is the best of the best of the best of the best of the best. This is the part which is the most important. This is the most critical. You know, I was looking at something the other day, and they showed this woman, and she was talking about, I think it's Illuminati bot or whatever, which is the best X or Twitter channel there is. And there was a woman who said they're taking infrared pictures of you every 5 seconds. They took a picture of a cell phone, and she had an infrared camera, and it's just blasting pictures of you every second to get your look constantly. They are stealing everything you have. So what do you do? Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you checked your devices for malware? Malware attacks have increased 643% since 2020, with approximately 10 million personal and corporate devices compromised with data stealing malware in just the last year alone. Additionally, 19.8% of computers face at least one malware attack annually. This emphasizes the critical need for individual users to protect themselves, their devices, and their data. This is why I use today's sponsor, Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, and I love the peace of mind it gives me. Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro is an award-winning antivirus with real-time protection, malware removal, ad blocking, scheduled scans, multi-device protection, and more that stops malicious downloads in their tracks. Without Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro, I would risk my finances, banking details, personal data, and more getting into the hands of cyber criminals. Thanks again to Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro for sponsoring today's extravaganza. And do yourself a favor and sign up for a free 7-day free trial, of Virtual Shield Antivirus Pro during their early Black Friday sale happening now, and get up to 75% off. Yes, you heard that. Up to 75% off. Only at virtualshield.com/Lionel. Once again, that's virtualshield.com/Lionel. If there were really a January 6th group, if there were really or I should say kind of an ACLU or something, they would be all over this January 6th thing. They would be all over it. But they're not. And it was one of the most incredible examples of the media at the time working together to focus on, I guess you would say, focus on creating a narrative of insurrection which didn't exist. They knew nothing about the case, but they saw this one particular picture, and they were so good. They had one message, and that was it. The right wing, who we are, not really sure about this. The best thing they ever did, and whether you like it or not, and I'm sorry to say it's true, but it's true. Media shows really matter, because remember, half the time you're not listening to what people are saying. You like people because of their kind of attitude. You like Matt Gaetz with the eyebrows and the Botox and the kind of a Beavis and or Butthead look, and you love the way he yelled, and you loved him, even though he's a pervert and a degenerate. And how anybody signed off on him, just like the Andrew Tate thing, I don't get it, but they liked him. Okay, fine. So they liked him. This Mace lady, no good. No good. Lauren Boebert, fool. Remember that? She's a fool. Marjorie Taylor Greene still trying to figure out kind of where she goes. Mike Johnson, he's no good. And they're always turning around and they want to get rid of the speaker. And they love this idea of dissent. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to get rid of the speaker. This one wants to get rid of the speaker. He doesn't like the speaker. And the Democrats are laughing their ass off. They would never do this. Never. They hate Nancy Pelosi. AOC hates Nancy Pelosi. She wouldn't dare do this. Okay. So when it comes to the notion of this, you had the actual weaponization of the Department of Justice against people who did nothing more than to protest. Now, if they rioted, get them on rioting. Get them. If they trespassed the Capitol, get them on that. If that's what you want. Insurrection, sedition, no way. Now, here's the best one. People have this idea. This is my favorite. I love the naivete of people who find themselves for the first time recognizing how things are done. There were 50 or 60 federal people in the crowds at the time. So what? So what? What does that have to do with anything? There's always 50 to 60. Anytime you have anything there. All the time. There were people at Woodstock. Where have you been? Yeah, but they were under. Okay. What about that Epps guy? I don't know what happened. Do you think that Epps guy kind of? I know he was. Was he suing Tucker or something? I don't know what the whole story was, but it sure looked funny. Come on, let's go. And then later on, he said we had to move, and it was all kinds of problems. Well, maybe. I mean, I'm not suggesting that makes sense, but you were rather vocal, and it may have nothing to do with Tucker Carlson, maybe because of what you did. But anyway, so there were these people who were there. So what difference did it make? Nothing. Did they arrange this? No. Were they saying, all right, I go over the scale? No. They were there, they were observing, and they were so obvious it wasn't even funny. There's always been undercover. Remember the Lackawanna Six? Remember that group of people upstate New York? There were these supposed terrorists or these group. And when they met, I'll never forget, they met in a Holiday Inn Express. And they said something to the effect of, we need artillery. He needs artillery. This is how stupid these people were, morons. And the leader, but they were meeting with FBI agents. FBI agents. And we've always had this. We've had this since day one. I'm not saying it's right, but one of the things, it goes back to the notion of the idea of entrapment. Now, when you talk about entrapment, again, most people have this idea of entrapment. Do you think they look it up? No. Do they research it? No. It's right there. They have a device they're using right now. The history of entrapment. What does entrapment mean? No. Do you think maybe they mentioned? No. What does entrapment mean? What does it mean? The best example of entrapment, maybe ever, was John DeLorean. Absolutely, positively, textbook entrapment. Not being undercover, not seeing what's going on, but basically getting somebody and involving somebody in something where they didn't even have the propensity to do it. This is the most important thing in the world. And there's three elements to this, which is really what you're talking about. Because they always say, there were, look at those FBI agents with their khaki pants. Yeah, they were FBI agents. What did they do? I don't know. Number one, the criminal idea, the intent, has to come from the law enforcement group or someone acting under their direction. If Epps or one of those guys actually said, come on, let's go in, assuming it was wrong, let's go to Washington and let's break the door and let's do this and let's get them. If that's true, it was they who came up with this. They did it. They did it. They. The FBI, not these people. Go back at the DeLorean. He had a problem, and we had his company in Belfast. He said, if you sell cocaine, come on, seriously. I don't want to do that. Come on. Number two, the defendant, the person, was induced to commit the crime. Now remember, whenever you claim entrapment, it's an affirmative defense, but the problem is you got to understand something. It's a defense, rather, I should say. But you've got to admit that you did it, just like the insanity defense. You got to say, okay, I did it, but here's why. So the idea comes from the cops, number one. Number two, the defendant was induced to it. And three, he was not predisposed to committing the crime. He didn't want to commit it. That's not what he was involved in. That's what you've got to show. Not that they were there, but that they went, the guy with the eye patch, and he goes, come on, let's go. Let's go. Now, there's something, too, which is important. It's the notion of impossibility. And I'm using the term incorrectly, but just work with me on this. Those people, first of all, none of them were charged with any kind of, sedition. I think there might have been seditious conspiracy, because if you read that, and of course, how many times have I told you this? Read the statute. The statute's pretty broad. If you interrupt official government, that kind of thing. If you, people don't even know what, they kind of have an idea of what sedition means. And they sit back and they, I don't think that. Read the statute. Again, this is why we need more foreign people in our technical, because we have so many people, college educated, high school educated, American educated, who don't even know, this is just across the board, how to even answer basic questions, who don't have the thinking skills, who don't look things up, who don't look up words, because we are an anti-intellectual society. We sit back and wait for somebody to tell us what the truth is. We don't investigate, ever. We don't do this. It's not who we are. It's not who we are. It's not what we do. We don't look this up. We feel like, well, this is beyond the capacity. I don't know. We sit back. And there was somebody one time who based everything they knew on seed oil based upon TikTok videos. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, this video said TikTok videos. That's it. That's the level of research it went. That's it. No more, no less. So the fact that these individuals were there didn't necessarily mean that people were predisposed, unless there's some particular factual pattern we're unaware of. But what they did was, if for no other reason, it was the most violent and awful, extreme example of the failure of due process to put these people in who posed no threats to any of them. Many of these folks had no prior criminal record whatsoever. And under the bond schedules of virtually any jurisdiction in the country, they should have been granted bond immediately. But it was to teach them a lesson. It was to teach them a lesson. Now, that does not mean that I agree with these people. We have people in our group, in our, I guess you'd call it our conspiracist group, you might say, who, and Alex Jones, I blame you. Why you? this idea of 1776, and they go back to Patrick Henry or something, and the blood of liberty, a tree, and the blood of the fertilizing of the, I don't know what the hell they're talking about, but you know, they're good people, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. They really don't know. And they mean well, and they use the word like, all right, patriots. I like patriots. What is it? Because I'm patriotic. But I'm not, you know, I'm not Ben Franklin. I'm just doing this. And the idea that these people, that this fat guy with an eye patch could somehow have overthrown, through this insurrection, there was no threat of the country losing anything. They couldn't have done anything. With all due respect to them and how great they were, there's no reason somebody's going to say, hello, yeah, Pentagon, yes, this is General Tommy, yes, can I speak with so-and-so, Joint Chief of Staff, yes. Hello, Dave, yeah, listen, we're going to turn over the keys of the government. Why? Some fat guy with a spare tire and an eye patch wearing camis is demanding, you saw that too on TV? Yeah, demanding control. Yeah, we're going to turn it over to him. So I want everybody, 82nd Airborne, 1st Marine Division, everybody to come and just lay your arms down and give them the keys. We're going to turn it all over to them, the entire government, everything. Military bases, Treasury, Federal Reserve, everything, to the fat guy with the eye patch because he's got a Gadsden flag, and they posed no threat to anybody. They are the Steve Bannon. They talk about this grandiose, which is fine, but this liberty and the countenance and the spirit and there are people who believe. They talk about how the MAGA, and they would have these Promethean references and memes, and there's God, it's almost like God, like Christ, like Trump is like, oh my God. Which you're entitled to think, that's your opinion, but they pose no threat to anybody. None. It was an FU. It was an FU. And Donald Trump and Elon Musk could have picked up the phone and say, guess what we're going to do? How many people are there? We're going to give you, all of us, we've chipped in $500 million for legal fees. Anybody want this? Anybody want this? Don't give me this business about, these incentives. I want all these people represented. I want there to be a cavalcade. That would have been the greatest thing ever. You can't do that to American citizens. You can't do that to an American citizen for daring to stand up against his country. That was fundamental. The left were asleep at the wheel, and the right, I don't know. And people like that rat bastard Neil Cavuto, who was a Quisling the whole time, they didn't like these people because they don't like Trump. The left and the right dropped their ball. See, because if you're really an American, you're going to stand up and you're going to say, wait a minute, that's not right. I remember one time saying that there was one particular case that Hunter Biden said, which made a lot of sense. And people couldn't understand that or grasp that notion because it was about Hunter Biden. And it was the fact that they took his laptop and they were like putting out information about him. Now, granted, if he leaves his laptop, that's fine. If he leaves it with the store, that's fine. But to take the information on the laptop and to disseminate it, pictures, driver's license stuff, no, that's no good. I think Delaware had an invasion of some particular statute, which I thought, if I find somebody's wallet, can I go online and publish and print? Here's her driver's license. Here's her number. Here's where she lives. Here it is, folks. Go to my ex-wife. There it is. Here's her credit card number. Here's this. What? Well, I found the wallet. I put an ad out. I called you. You never picked it up. Okay, that's the wallet. What about the information? Well, No, you wouldn't do that. But because it was Hunter Biden, people said, no, we can't. So this is on both sides. This is the right is intellectually disingenuous and the left is as well. It's very lonely being me in this world, and I'll tell you why. Because I don't take sides. I want to know what the truth is. I want to know which side is right, whoever it is. If it happens to be right, that's fine. If it's wrong, that's wrong. I told you, folks, that when you came up with this notion of CPAC, I know people who say, I think we should, one of the platforms of the Republican Party should be to make abortion illegal. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Seriously? Honest to God, are you out of your mind? Please tell me this. And do me a favor. I'm all for great jokes. Can you not trash up the room with these pathetic examples of trying to be funny? Not here. Go to Steve Bannon. Go do that. I love a good dirty joke. I love a good dirty joke. But I don't want to do it because I always have to be heard. I'm always the one yelling in the crowd. Always yelling. Hey, I'm going to do an F-bomb. Would you stop? Would you stop? Please. That's all I'm saying. Is there anything? I mean, there's a little bit of being a little blue here and then. This is why we have no American culture, because you give people the chance and it's just... I'll never forget, going back to what I said, you had these morons who said, I think that since life begins at conception, and they were, I think, I don't know who they were, since life begins at conception, and since it's life, I think the Republican Party should be against abortion, should basically stand against abortion. It's like, are you out of your mind? By the way, here is H-E-A-R. Here, not here. H-E-R-E. What do you say? Here, good for you here. H-E-A-R. Anyway. This is the thing which is the most important. This is. And we live in a world right now that is so bereft that we have lost our minds in the meantime. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I don't care about the left. I don't care about the right. I voted for President Trump. I wanted President Trump in office. I want him. I didn't vote for any of these blowhards. Okay. That's not my thing. I don't want to sit around with all these people hold up, the SINQs and the Donald DeFreezes. They're almost like the SLAs. They're like these radical groups. I don't know who, whatever it is. I don't know who they are. And they can say whatever they want. But you're not going to screw this up. And the Democrats are sitting back loving the fact that it appears that we can't get along. Now, if you think that's okay, that's all right. I don't. And I don't give a damn about the Republicans because they're a waste of time. They're a waste of time. See where Lara Trump says, I don't want to run for Senate. What? I don't want too much work. Who wants to be senator? That's tough work. It's boring. You're one of 100. You go there, you're in the back, you don't say anything, you don't do anything. I got to go to committee meetings. They're such big talkers. And let me also tell you something, which nobody's talking about, including the usual suspects. We haven't fixed anything regarding, by the way, the reason why President won was because of Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and a bunch of people who made him so cool. It was so big to rig. But next time, if it's not so big, we still have a broken election system where we have these addresses, these absentees coming from addresses where there's 500 people listed at one house and there's no cross-referencing. That hasn't been fixed. That hasn't been fixed. Understand that? You understand what I'm saying? That hasn't been fixed. Anybody talking about that? No. No. Because that's boring talk. That's the most important. Did you send this thing? I got to tell you this one thing. Did you send the thing, honey, that article? This is the one. Yeah, the storm. This is the one that's going to blow your mind. Look at this story. This is so good. By the way, Mrs. L does the best. How do I say this? She does the best research there is. Hang on a minute. I want to read this one thing to you, which is really good. Here we go. Hang on. Did you see this one? Listen to this. Scientists, hang on a minute. Sorry about that. This will blow your mind. I think maybe. Scientists, hang on, pardon me. Okay, here we go. Scientists warn of an impending ultra-intense Category 6 storm. Listen to this one. Scientists have made a stark warning of an impending ultra-intense Category 6 storm. The prediction comes from an international team of over 60 experts who found the burning of fossil fuels has poured the equivalent energy into the Earth systems, heralding a dark new era of mega hurricanes. You like what they're doing? You see where this is going? The weather manipulation part has been completely done, but they're setting you up for, don't forget, we haven't forgotten climate change. An ultra-intense Category 6 storm would unleash winds of 192 miles per hour or higher and a rise in seawater exceeding 25 feet. This was in Daily Mail today. While this is a theoretical weather event, experts call it the most powerful storm ever seen on Earth. The forecast is part of the new book, Category 5, Superstorms and the Warming Oceans That Feed Them, where author Porter Fox featured scientific calculations and testimonies from sailors who have dealt with extreme weather firsthand. Not that extreme weather is manufactured. I know everybody say harp, 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 harp. And while Florida was battered by hurricanes this year, Danielle would take a different path, New York. You see, the experts predicted the storm would make through the slim channel between Staten Island and Brooklyn's Dyker Heights. That's where the Christmas things are, right? Which has last seen by Hurricane Sandy in 2012. Destruction will be on a scale never seen in the Northeast, Fox wrote. An ultra-intense Category 6 storm would unleash winds of 192 miles per hour and a rise in seawater of 25 feet. And while Florida was... Okay. This is going to be, what year is this? What year? By the year 21, is this 2100? Where did I see this? Around 2100, the year. Okay, so we got some time. Listen to this one. You're going to love this. The hypothetical Hurricane Danielle would enter New York Harbor first with its punishing wind shear, rattling the Verrazano Narrows Bridge. The intense wind would snap the structure's 3-foot thick suspension cables and send both levels of the roadway into the lower bay. As this ultra-intense Category 6 enters New York Harbor, the whole of Governor's Island will be subsumed in a water, a wall of white water. Most windows in the Freedom Tower, built to withstand gusts of up to 200 miles an hour, would blow out. My point is, they never stop. They don't stop. They don't give up. They're like this. And all of the left will be like this. Now, if the right said this, Cavuto would say this, Bannon would say this, Charlie Kirk would say this one would say that, somebody else. All of the people trying to push people out of the way for their podcast platform because each of them want to be the next person. So they would be arguing about that. Why? Let me go back to what I'm saying. In peroration, these are mean girls. Mean girls. And let me tell you something about Bannon. One more thing. He was left out. He was rejected by Trump. When Trump's done with you, that's it. You're through. You get the bum's rush. He'll love you 1 second, and the moment you become an see ya. And he knew right away. You know who else is kind of like learn? You know who's very smart? Who? Roger Stone. Roger Stone knows it. Roger Stone says, "Thank you very much for the pardon. I'm not going to cause any problem. I'm over here if you need me. Thank you, Roger. I'm over here. Thank you." Roger Stone's a gentleman. He said, "I'm not going to push this. Not these clowns. No. Dinesh D'Souza, well, he's kind of watching. He's over here. Then you got the ones who were the Lonely Hearts Club. Ann Coulter. I don't know what her problem is. Woman's got so many issues. Dear God. Steamer trunk emotional baggage. She doesn't know what she wants to be when she grows up. She's just always empingada, always mad with the Fabissima face. Just always mad. Laura Loomer, who I really like. I liked her spunk. She's kind of, she doesn't handle it the right way. And one of the things that's the most important, and I will say this, you want to do your best at all levels of possible to remain from being considered a nut. That means more to us. The left doesn't care about it, but the right does. And there's this angry, again, it's this, some of these people, it's almost like with Bannon. I want to play like Janice Ian's at 17. At 17, I learned the truth about the beauty queens and cheating at solitaire. And girls, ugly girls that people stare at 17. These freaks that nobody loves us. They don't love us anymore. It's weird. It's the strangest group of people. And Trump must be thinking, what the hell do I have to do? I've got these bastards who want to kill me, indict me, shoot me. And then I've got this group now. And then Vivek is saying, what is this? What's going on? I don't know. That's your Republican Party. That's your group of people. Those are your friends. Those are your heroes, not mine. I have nothing to do with these people. Nothing to do with these people. None. Even Alex Jones is smart. Figure out which hill you want to die on. And if you think you're ever going to come back from this, you just wrote it off. And by the way, you just realized, you just told the rest of the world, Bannon and others, that you're a nut and you're a loose cannon and can't be trusted. So I know we talked about a lot of stuff. In conclusion, number one, the folks should be paying the most. And I don't know about this group who's necessarily bringing the lawsuit. I'll give it a shot. But in any event, the people who are there should be paying great and close attention to this particular case. One more thing. Let me say something. I'll say it again. January 15th is going to be, I believe, the day where they're going to reconsider and reintroduce or readdress the dock strike. Okay? That's going to be important. Critical. They're not going away. Number two, you just heard this. You've got the left is still waiting. They're not budging. They don't budge. All for one. With this climate change crap that they keep pushing, the Hipsy thermals and Holocene maxima notwithstanding. You better pay. They still have their Christmas deal. I'm telling you, it's still up there. And now's the time to do it, my friends. Preparewithlionel.com. And this is not just about food. Just look and see the available stuff that's there, because you're going to say, I never knew they made this. I know. You have to go. And I know a lot of people don't want to look things up and they want to go online. Trust me, this is your family. And one more thing, mypillow.com. You want to keep it in this country? Great. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. That's simple. mypillow.com/Lionel. And that's it. So my friends, let me tell you something right now. Oh, here we go. Lori Cuck says, morning, L. Got any thoughts on Blagojevich? Bannon belongs in the background. Blagojevich. Interesting. Hang on a minute. What can stifle the $50 billion lawsuit? Motions to dismiss? Let's see what Blagojevich is up to. Let me see. Any particular news stories? Let me see. 2 weeks ago, Weapon of Justice started with me. Is there anything in particular I'm looking for? Forgive me. I'm saying, am I missing a story that is anything in particular? Perhaps you can maybe help me with this one. I don't know. I honest to God, I do not know. Oh, interview with Tucker. No. Do not think ill of me. I don't watch every interview with Tucker. Tucker's great. Don't get me wrong. I like his stuff. I don't. The interviews that I like, that I can watch, the longest ones that I can do is Lex Friedman. I can't. I think the world of Tucker. I don't watch them, so I don't. I'm sort of not. I mean, I'm interested to an extent, sort of. Let me just explain something. My viewing habits, my reading habits. I'm not a groupie. I don't know about these people. That's why I don't understand the Bannon. If Tucker says something, and even Rogan to an extent, because Rogan's more of a. He's a wonderful magnifying lens. I don't know. That's not the stuff that I watch. I get more into other things. The interviews that I watch probably more than anything else, is Napolitano, anything involving Colonel McGregor, anything involving Mearsheimer, Mearsheimer and I think McGregor, if he could be my DOD, there's no way he would because of his Israel stance. And I'm not even going to begin to discuss this position on, mention things about the mob or Chicago politics. No, I didn't see it. I'm sure it's good. I did not see that one. The mob, I think we're kind of into this. We are so saturated right now with this mob genre stuff. I used to love, and Mrs. L will tell you, I loved organized crime. The Last Testament of Lucky Luciano was the book that just absolutely was so critical, so important. Really got a feel for it because you could extrapolate and do other things too. And then it turned into a joke. Listen to what Mearsheimer says. Spend your time listening to anything. Learn about realism. Colonel McGregor, there's no way he would have been selected, but I would have picked him over Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is going to be an Israel rubber stamp. I hate that. Nothing against Israel. I just don't like people using our soldiers, our money, and our treasure to fight wars that mean nothing to us. Fred Pound says, have you heard about or covered the notion that the Gates controversy is a blackmail attempt for $25 million? That's the oldest thing in the book. Remember this was a while back? Are you telling me that Gates has nothing to do with that? There's nothing to this? It's moot at this point. And like somebody said last night, well, why don't you think if there's nothing to Gates, why didn't they charge him? Oh, I don't know. If I was on the street, I'd say because he's a rat. because he's ratting somebody out, because he's giving. I mean, this is what most people would say. I don't know. Be done with this. Let me explain to you. I'm an adult man. I don't like children. I don't care about your sexual predilections. He adopted a little kid, well, some minor. His life is a weird. If I have to point this out to you, put it this way: if I worked for a business and you recommended Matt Gaetz, I wouldn't fire Matt Gaetz. I'd fire you. I'd say you have no sense of character. If you don't see what kind of a freak this guy is, I don't know. Lauren Boebert, this Mace is the new one. And by the way, this isn't to say that, I'm not saying the left isn't at all. Not at all. Not at all. No. But you know what? And watch how he is just, when he did the cameo spot, he doesn't even have that. Do you know what he went? He went from being an attorney general potential nominee to doing, I think he did, I don't know if he's still doing it. Hi, Uncle Dave. This is your favorite Matt Gaetz, and happy birthday to Aunt Jean. And oh my God. And remember, you will listen to what I'm saying. Always look to the power of the wife. Look what they're doing now with Bashar al-Assad's wife in Syria. They're going to go after her big time. She is the Imelda Marcos of this. This is the woman who thought all of a sudden, oh, this is Matt Gaetz' wife. Oh, I'm going to be the congressman's wife. No, he's done. It's just like if you want to go back and read the great story about Wallace Simpson and the Duke of Windsor, absolutely phenomenal. Once he stepped down to be in love with her, she went crazy. She didn't want him. She wanted the role. Same thing with these other people. Fred Pound says, a perv, but set up by a guy who ran Florida's BMV department. Money was supposed to be used to ransom a Jewish guy. So if you think, again, if that's what you think, do you remember the night when Matt Gaetz was on with Tucker and he said, you remember Tucker, don't you? When we were out to dinner, remember Tucker's face? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Remember that one? It was the weirdest thing. It's like, boy, this guy is not to be trusted. Bottom line, knowing what you know now, very simple. If you were President Trump, would you insist use your political capital on picking Matt Gaetz, not for Secretary of Agriculture, but the Attorney General? Simple question. Yes or no? Would you do it? Blackmail, this and that. If you were President Trump right now, you haven't even been inaugurated, would you spend your political capital on Matt Gaetz? Yes or no? Yes or no? Come on. Absolutely not. You know it, and I know it. It might be a bum rush. It might be unfair. Might be some dirt there. Forgave it. Gave false IEDs to young girls, but I get it. Maybe don't. Whatever girls who are within a year or two of being. Look, bottom line is this. Would you? Now this is ridiculous. Happy Love said yes. Yes. King's Bride says yes. I would pick Matt Gaetz. Yes. I would expend political capital. Yes. I would do it. I would before I'm even, I would say, this is great because I'm loyal. Come on, Matt. Come on. We're going to go to the wall for you. Little Charlotte given title, poor kid. Oh, is this? Oh no, this is Charlotte. The royal family. By the way, Kate not doing well. Not doing well. Now, you know, and I know people are saying, come on. You know this. It's ridiculous. And Hexeth, doesn't even matter. Doesn't matter. But this is sometimes where Trump and I love the guy. I'm not going to make a big deal on it, for whatever it's worth. But I'd say, what are you kidding? Because Trump loves cool guys. Cool, good looking. Hey, the captain of he loves that. He loves it. Trump one time would say, hey, look at my son. He's 6'9". Okay, Dad, I'm 6'9". Is that it? Yes, my son. He's tall, isn't it? Dad, for the love of God, I'm okay. I mean, I'm tall. All right? There's something more to me than that. Mickey Mo, ladies and gentlemen, says, been watching for years, Mr. Rell. You are doing wonderful. Keeping the fire. Thank you, Mickey Mo. Appreciate that. Remember when Trump said, hey, Jim Jordan, you're a wrestler, weren't you? See, that's Trump's. I'd pick Mearsheimer. But Mearsheimer would be, are you kidding? Bibi Netanyahu would lose his mind. I never liked Gates anyway. Has a rodent face. I don't care what people look like. I don't care about that at all. Doesn't matter to me at all. None. Doesn't matter at all. What I'm saying is, not now. Let me talk about this Hexis stuff, because you love this guy, right? I would have a guy, I would say, you give me somebody who's 6'4", Marine, high and tight, white, the whole bit, that institutional haircut. He walks in where people think, oh my God. Did you ever see the fellow who won? I think it's called the Queen's Cross or the Elizabeth Cross or whatever what is it? I think it's which cross is it? Hang on a minute. There's the Queen's Cross. The Queen's Cross. He's the highest award for bravery. I think it's the Queen's Cross. Okay. When the Queen gave it to this one guy who came in, he was like 8 feet tall. He had the hat, and he stands like this, and the Queen, looks up at him. I mean, it's the most incredible thing. This is their Congressional Medal of Honor. I would have somebody who would be so that the troops loved, who was in the fray, who was active, currently status, maybe colonel, not really a general yet, not in the general corps, but just maybe a colonel. Somebody really knows, not retired. Somebody really knows their stuff, not somebody who's been doing the weekend Fox News thing, who might have been a good guy, but not him. No. Laurie Cox, I love you, Al, and you're usually right. Usually, I like that, appreciate that. By the way, we heard so much stuff about Kate. I'm not at liberty to say because I have no way to. I'm not going to tell you stuff that I just hear, but I feel very, very, very sad for her because I don't think it looks good. Chuck, by the way, is still hanging in there. Chuck had it in there. Mickey Mo, thank you, Mickey Mo. I think Chuck was. Remember, Chuck went in there for a prostate thing. And that usual thing where, they'll kind of scope you and they'll say, I think it might be like a bladder cancer thing. I don't know. I'm not an expert. And yet he's kind of they were doing this thing. I know you don't care about this. I know Americans don't care about this. It's the best story in the world. Watch what they do to Meghan Markle. Watch how they push Harry. Just watch what happens. It's going to be the most incredible story you've ever seen in your life. How they're moving this stuff. How Wills is going to be. Is Wills going to be the second coming of the kind of like a New World Order-ish type of thing? We'll see. In any event, my friends, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, of course, people are always going to be blaming vaccines. Anytime somebody gets sick, it's because of the vaccine. Every time somebody drops dead, is a vaccine. No matter what, you just say it. Okay. It's like seed oils. Once it gets once it breaks through that blood-brain barrier of popular thought, that's it. That's all you need to know. It's like a bumper sticker. That's it. In any event, I thank you. I thank you, Mickey Mo, Lori Cuck, Fred Pound, and Raul Rodriguez, and Shadow Steve, by the way. Don't forget to follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Remember, think for yourself. Ask what's best for the country and what's best for President Trump. Not who is your favorite talk show or platform or whatever the hell these things are called. That's all. It's very simple. All right, my friends, have a great and glorious day. See you later. Don't ever forget the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.